was a good opening, though.
Oh, I didn't get the. All right. Hey, everyone. This is Anthony with Bangin Beers on Easter Sunday. And what better way to celebrate the Lord than drink beer, right? Yeah. We have an awesome guest today, David Lorenzo. He'll be on in a second here. He's doing some cool stuff right over there. So if you hear some noise, don't mind that.
Just finished. Perfect timing.
It looks like the table looks like we have like baking soda and like science stuff. We're making meth on the show, ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, we graduate from beer.
Yeah, so we're gonna drink beers and then do a bunch of meth. It's gonna be a good time. No, that what's happening here today is he took some photos before the show started. We'll put that back in the middle bin. We'll make some adjustments. We did have another beer on the table today. We'll keep that for you. That's your you need that.
I'm not going to use all of it.
Okay.
I'll use probably about 17 ounces.
Alrighty.
Beer and a little bit.
So take us through the process a little bit. What's going on here?
Okay, so basically I saw online that Dogfish Head made a new beer. It's called Super 8.
Mm-hmm.
And they also collaborated with Kodak after they made the beer because I guess Super 8 film for video. And then they were like, oh, let's contact Kodak and see what they can do. So Dogfish Head and Kodak decided, let's see if we can use this beer to develop black and white film. So what they did was there's a makeshift developer. It's called Caffeinol, which is usually made with coffee and vitamin C and baking soda. So I got the vitamin C, the baking soda, and then I have the Dogfish Head beer. So they give you a little instructions online on how to use their product and the mixture to develop the film.
Mm-hmm.
So it says it takes about 15 minutes. I'm going to go a little bit longer just because in case I get the mixtures wrong. It's always good to go over just because it doesn't really affect it too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, do you want me to just start mixing
sure.
together? All right. So I'm just going to mix it in this big one just so you can see the color of the beer.
So cool. This is such a neat thing. So yeah, we took some cool. This is a cool, like a nice little, nice red there, like pinkish red. So yeah, we have a can of this getting chilled in the fridge as we speak. So yeah, we took some photos before the show started, and we're gonna make film out of it. That's pretty awesome. Now you also do photography now, correct?
Yes. I primarily shoot digital, and then film is kind of like a hobby that I just kind of been getting into because I did it in school. So I use the darkroom and I printed film on paper, and got a little bit more.
You'll probably get a little more with when the head resolves too.
Yeah, and I think they said that it's going to start foaming up a little bit when they add the other ingredients.
Or get like a beer volcano too.
I hope not. I don't want to mess up your stuff if that happens.
No.
There's no vinegar, so it should be fine. But yeah, so I've just been starting to get back into developing film.
It's like the most scientific episode ever. This is great.
It's the wildest episode.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's I saw on their little paper, it's about an ounce of baking soda and about an ounce of vitamin C powder. I have crystals, so I'm gonna add a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll kind of see where it goes from there.
So normally, what type of photography do you do?
I primarily do like portraits in abandoned buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll let that settle for a little bit.
Yeah, that is cool. So I primarily do
just in case I'm gonna get a paper tip.
I have a couple.
All right. Don't worry, we got a whole.
There we
go.
We're good. Just in case.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's why I got a bigger container to mix it in.
That was smart.
So yeah, I just do abandoned buildings, models that I find. They're usually mostly friends. They're not like professional models or anything. Most of the time, if I contact a professional model, they usually are like, "Hey, here's my rates," and they're usually astronomical.
Yeah.
So it's like gonna keep it on the cheaper side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of what I do. It's more of a hobby that I'm trying to turn more into a passion, or not a passion, but like a part-time job at the moment.
Yeah.
So I kind of like doing it. So I just want to keep going with it.
Yeah.
Kind of see where it leads me.
Yeah,
I-
rock and roll.
It's
with
a
it,
cool
yeah,
idea,
man.
man. Definitely. And the business card just you kind of have like like a girl cosplaying a little bit and some cool. You're not gonna be able to see them on camera, but we'll take photos of them. There's a photo up on our Instagram page, with the beer we're using and some photos. So they're pretty cool. I definitely. There's Ben
drop
throws
it.
it. That's
Okay.
all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you can't see his contact info, but
Yeah,
like
but we'll
Tony said,
definitely have everything there. But yeah, it's really really neat. I'm into the photography thing. I like when people do it. There's a lot of very talented photographers in our area already. Like so it's pretty cool. Like everyone's kind of finding their niche.
Mhm.
You know, I meet a lot of people who do like they'll go to shows and see bands and they'll take photos there. And then they show, hey, you know, I was at this show and I took these awesome photos, or like go to wrestling events. So there's always a need for a photographer. 100%.
Yeah, I've done photography for a couple bands. I actually photographed handguns just recently.
Mhm.
And then
When Bishop was playing, or not Bishop, Eddie Collins.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was probably like about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that show. He loved the photos,
Mhm.
and both him and Jake Langley, they both liked the photos a lot. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we just had Chris on with his dad to talking, music and the family and stuff like that. It was a really cool episode.
Nice. Yeah. I know Eddie and them. They're really nice people.
Yeah.
They're very talented.
The whole
so.
family's insane. It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know what they did as parents to create just like musical prodigies, but the whole family's insane. Chris is actually on the road right now with he's in Canada. They just yesterday they did a show. Crowbot did a show in 420 in Canada, and Eddie just played bass with.
That's awesome. Didn't they just legalize it in all of Canada too?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what's the. So while he's making his concoction and his film, his solution, like whatever his solution, right?
It's a solution.
Yeah,
It's
solution.
basically
We all have a couple beers poured. We don't have the growler on camera, but I went to Outbreak Wrestling last night, and during the show they had for autism awareness. I don't have the full name. I definitely have to get that. I'll put it in the description. But they had a raffle ticket away for to donate for the to donate for the autism, and the whole night they had a bunch of really cool stuff, and they had a growler there for $17.87, and halfway through the event they're like, hey, come over and check your tickets. I don't win any. I'm not mom. Mom wins everything. I was like, there's no way I win. So I'm winning. So I'm kind of just watching the show, and I kind of peek over at the table and I see the growler sitting there still. So I made a joke to them like, I'll be back. I'm gonna go get I won that shit. I'm taking it. So I walk over to the guy. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I probably won this. I'm just clearly joking. I never win anything. And I look at the ticket. I'm like, holy shit, I won. So I get the growler, and then like, well, hold on, there's a gift card. And I was like, all right. So I get the gift card. They don't know how much is on it. So we leave the event, go right around the corner. So you come down you leave the Hamburg Fieldhouse, go down the street, make a right, and it's right there on the main drag.
It's like maybe about a half a block away from
the beautiful place, outdoor sitting. It's like a long building. So there was a band playing in the back, bar. Right next,
well lit, clean.
Yeah, clean, beautiful place. Right next to it was like a gift shop, so they do sell merchandise during the daytime hours.
Mhm.
I don't know if they do tours or anything. I didn't really inquire too much because it was getting late and they closed at 11. I didn't want to be that guy, so I got the growler, got it filled. We're drinking. I forget the name of it now. Again, is it
The 1787 Blue Rocks.
Blue Rocks? Yes, I actually gave that a 3.5 on mine. Let me pull that up again real quick to kind of give you a description of what's going on with that beer. 1787 Blue Rocks. So that's a New England style pale ale. It is a 7% ABV, 75 IBU. They are a microbrewery out of Hamburg, Pennsylvania. So I enjoyed it. Like I said, the place looked amazing. A very, very nice selection.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
All right. This is so cool.
This is like the coolest shit that we ever did in this episode.
We're doing science. It's science today. Yeah, I gave that a 3.5. I'm a fan of that beer.
This is like a good introductory, New England IPA. If you want to show somebody, be like, hey, look, do you want to try a New England IPA?
But it does have a very so the description said a very a citrusy, like a tropical citrus IPA. Let me read. I took a picture of the menu so I can describe it a little better. So it says a New England style IPA named after its 15-acre rock field located in the northeast of Hamburg. This American IPA features mostly tropical fruit or hop aroma and flavor. Heavily dry hop provided a fuller body, smoother flavor, and less bitterness than your standard IPA. I enjoy it. I think this is a good all day beer. Like this is a beer you could order at a bar and you can drink it most of the day, and it goes down very nice, and it's strong, so you're definitely gonna get something out of it. But also it's a great taste to it. I'm a fan of it. So what's the process here now? We made the solution?
Yep, we made the solution, and right now I'm pouring it in. This is going to be technically the developer. So basically what you do is you pour it in. This is considered a Patterson tank. This right here, it's all light sealed. It's just a little funnel to help pour it in. And then you put the lid on top just so that none of the liquid spills out. And then basically I'll just put it in there. And then I just kind of invert it a couple times just to basically
soak it.
Yeah. And then you just keep going with it. So you do it a couple times and then you let it sit, tap most of the bubbles off of the film, and then you just let it sit. So like every 30 seconds during like the processing of the development time, you would just turn it a couple times.
Yeah,
just to
get a little bit of drip on this side.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't know if it's not tight over there, but just give you a heads up.
Thank you. Just make sure it's extra tight. So yeah, basically you just kind of keep it in there and then you turn it just to get fresh solution onto the film. It might be because it's also beer, so it like foams a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Don't worry about the mess. Tables, these are all waterproof stickers, and we have hodgepodge on it. You're fine.
You have what on it?
Mod Podge.
Mod Podge. Yeah, your hodgepodge haunts me. Mod Podge. Yeah, and there's been plenty of spills in this table, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to like stain it with whatever.
No, I poured we had a really good beer the one day, and I bumped it and poured it. It was bad. Yeah. So
what on here? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was on one of the shows. You called me a goof during it.
Oh yeah.
Cool thing too. So you'll see me use this a lot. Ben hooked me up. This is the Macho Man Randy Savage glass from True Class Glass. They make a lot of really cool glassware, wrestling, nerdy stuff, hop style things. Ben hooked me up with this one. He's drinking out of a Hudson Valley glass, and then you guys are using our Interviews with Everyday People glass that was made for the show for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it from the same company that made?
No. This is someone local. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a coworker. She enjoys the show. She's a good friend of mine, and she went and got us custom made glasses because when we first started, everyone had like a different glass.
Okay.
And she's like, it drives me crazy that no one has the same glasses. So we're back to that again. So I apologize, but yeah. So that she got them custom made for us. So it was really nice of her.
That's cool. Yeah, it's always nice to kind of have like a similar
we've had
thing.
so many cool things. Like we had what was that? Those pieces of plastic that you put in the oven. Shrinky dinks. I had a shrinky dink made for us. A lot of cool fan stuff that was made for us over the past couple months that we've been doing this because we're still kind of new. We're only like 5 or 6 months into the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it seems like you had a lot of cool people on. So far.
And there's so much more. Like a lot of really cool stuff happening. So what did you guys think of this beer?
I thought it was really good.
Not bad. Definite hop flavor. It tasted kind of, I don't want to say flat, but
it isn't a growler. I don't know if that'll affect your draft.
That might have an effect on it. I gave it a 3, simply because I'm not a big IPA fan, but it's not bad. It's one of those I could have probably 2 pints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not.
I'm not a huge hop fan, but I can have 2 or 3 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually a lot of the times when you do them in growlers, they usually take a little bit of the sting out from like the freshness from the tap. So like I was telling Tony earlier, he's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna break it up." I said, "Just to let you know, it's gonna really degrade and oxidize over time, and once you crack that lid open in a growler." Just make sure that you drink it all, within like during the week, which he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We have a show tomorrow, 2 shows, like our live shows that we do. So I'm definitely we'll definitely be drinking from those. Get rid of it. So we're gonna move on to our next one. Now it is a sour.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a fan of sour beers?
I am a fan. That's
right.
kind of why I kind of wanted to try the Dogfish Head
Nice.
experiment.
This is Hudson Valley. If from what I've heard, like obviously, if you're a sour guy, Hudson Valley makes amazing sours.
Okay.
They're very sought after. That's Ben's trade bait. He drives up there for it because people like it. I like the aftertaste of the sour. So if I'm like, oh, this is apple, and like you get that initial like, oh, and then the aftertaste is amazing. So once I guess if I could train my palate to get used to that initial punch in the tongue, that aftertaste is delicious. Sours have some of the best aftertaste of a beer I've ever had.
The one that like lingers on your tongue afterwards.
But the initial sour is just tough for me. I've had this. Ben was drinking up during a show. This is a 7% as well. If you want to start checking it, it's called Hudson Valley Follow, Fallow. This is a peach flavored, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is the peach.
That has peach, orange peel, or orange zest, or lemon zest, and also vanilla.
Okay.
Let
I
me
tried.
Let me look that.
I
up
tried
real
this
quick.
from him. I'm gonna go a little heavier with my pour because I gotta train myself a little bit. And you don't have to go. I'm gonna let you pour your own here because
Okay.
you do have to drive. I don't want to force anything on you.
I gotcha.
And
Peaches, lemon peel, and vanilla beans.
yes, so I did try this. Sour wise, it didn't knock me back like a normal sour does. It's very good. But once again, I'm a huge sucker for peach flavored things. So we'll get that poured real quick.
You can smell the peach a little bit.
Yeah, we have 2 peach flavored beers today. That was a complete accident.
Wow.
Definitely taste the peach.
Yeah, like I said, it's a great taste. So you did say, okay, so it's a farmhouse ale, ancient European tradition where
Ooh,
farmers
that-
brew beer
that
from
really
their
got
own
better.
grain.
That is. Oh, it only says drink now. No date on the freaking can.
Drink now.
Just literally, it just says drink now on the bottom of the can.
That's really good.
Wow.
Drink now.
This is actually this was from my personal, because Ben brought this as a personal beer for me, but I wanted to start incorporating more sours and like darkers or porters on the show because we tend to go heavy on IPA.
Okay. Just to kind of bring your variety around.
Yeah, we're trying to put a little more variety in there. Let me tag Ben.
Wow, that got awfully pleasant. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. That's not
if
even
that's a-
sour.
It's
I was
smooth,
gonna
very
say
smooth.
if that's a sour, I could like
It's
sours.
so good. It's like juice.
Yeah, it's
There's
tart.
no-
it's
there's-
more tart than
Yes,
sour.
it's a
Wait.
sour.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
It's instead of the sour, it's more of like a tart.
Mhm.
It honestly, it's like drinking juice. There's no sour to that. I think that's so he poured this. They're
nice
like,
and peach
you're not
flavor,
gonna
too.
like it, and I taste. I'm like, and I didn't even make like the sour thing, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
delicious. This is a good beer.
This one is a little bit more tart.
Yeah.
Just-
Because I was really surprised because like usually if anything's sour, he's right off with it, and so I'm like, you're not gonna like it. And then when we got him, I'm like, oh my god, we got him.
It has a good peach flavor to it.
Yes, 100%.
Hudson Valley is very good when it comes to mixing their flavors. We actually have, I think we have a can of Verdant. It's a blue can, but
Yeah.
that has more of like flora into it, like microflora into it. And it's like earthy, floral. That's not even sour. You could really taste like the flowers into that.
Mhm.
So it's pretty cool. They do a lot of really wacky stuff that you think like, oh, I'm not gonna like this, but somehow it all ties together and just wow, it's
Yeah,
nuts.
this is a phenomenal beer. This is really, really good, especially if you like peach. It's a great beer. What are you giving that,
I gave it a 3.5.
Ben?
Well, I give it a 4 because I just like the taste of it. So
I went 4.25.
whoa,
I went 4.2.
Wow.
I really now 4.5 for me is like, I do have some funny like perfect scores
Yeah.
that I go back when I first started Untapped. I go back and
You
I'm
didn't know
kind
any
of
better.
I'm embarrassed.
You didn't know any better.
It's like the Coronas. And
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I have no qualms about giving Guinness out a 5 because it's just
It's your favorite beer. Yeah, one of your favorite beers.
it's one of my favorite beers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we did talk about before, but if you're ever going to Maryland, and you can stop by the Guinness Brewery in Maryland,
Just
they just
outside of
built.
Baltimore.
It's beautiful.
That's cool.
Food-
I didn't know they built one.
Yeah, the food is beautiful. The food is amazing.
Yeah.
So speaking of, oh, you go. Oh,
Yeah.
you go.
Food is amazing. They have your traditional Guinness draft. The
blonde.
I always say the golden, the
Yeah.
blonde. But then they'll switch it up. So like if you can go back in like 6 months and the entire lineup will be completely different. They said,
Yeah.
but they made a black IPA, which is literally the Guinness Black, like the Guinness, but they turn it into an IPA. It has the same flavor, but it has the hoppy kick to it. Delicious, not as thick. Very, very good. That was probably one of my favorite beers I've ever had. Like the Guinness Black IPA was unbelievable. They did a oatmeal stout that you were a huge fan of.
I like that.
And then they had a triple IPA. That will kill you. It was like literally drinking grain alcohol. It was strong.
Was it very hoppy or was it just
Yeah.
an
Super
alcohol
hoppy?
flavor?
But it was
Super
like
hoppy.
it was super hoppy, but it had like it was like drinking a shot. It was strong.
Super hot.
Yeah.
Did they tell you the alcohol for it, the content?
I think it was like 7. It was up there like 17, 15
Yeah, I'm not sure.
for an
Oh,
IPA.
wow, that's
Yeah.
nice.
They're right outside of Baltimore. In
Like the Inner Harbor area?
no. Arbutus, Maryland.
Yeah. I didn't know we were going. He surprised me. But like you walk in these giant gates like heaven. You see the big building, and you walk in huge outdoor sitting area, like tables with like fire and people playing like cornhole, and they have like games and kids are running around because it's all like a family thing. You can go and get a meal. They have tours. We didn't do a tour that day. Huge gift shop. Then they have an upstairs bar, downstairs bar.
Yeah, you actually come in on the second floor.
Yeah.
And the gift shop is there and the bar is there, and then they have your typical bar food. The second
It was good food, though.
Third floor, yeah, it was good. The third floor is an actual restaurant.
Okay.
So you can get a sit down meal up in the
And then you can go out on
Oh,
the balcony
wow.
and sit outside there too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of outdoor, indoor sitting area.
Yeah, and
Very
the first floor of the place is just like a self-guided tour. You can go down and see what a brewery looks like
That was
downstairs.
Yep.
And then the brewery is on the other side of the complex.
And then where the people sat outside in the pavilion area, there was actually an outdoor bar there too.
Yeah.
I don't think it was open when we were there because
Yeah,
the weather
It
was still
just
kind of
opened,
chilly.
yeah.
Yeah. It was still still a little chilly. Like it was just the beginning of summer, spring because we went to see a soccer game.
Mhm.
But yeah, beautiful. If you can go, definitely I recommend it.
Have to check it out. I didn't know Guinness brought the beer to the
Yeah,
US like that.
yeah.
Well, in Latrobe is where they were initially making the blonde.
Yeah.
And then they moved it out of Latrobe and then they built the brewery in Baltimore.
Cool.
So speaking of Maryland, this weekend I went to one of my other favorite breweries called Burley Oak, and that's in Berlin, Maryland. Met up with one of my buddies in Limerick Park and Ride, and then he drove the whole rest of the way to Berlin, Maryland. And another place is that Burley Oak. And I'll tell you what, if you thought I was talking a high regard to Hudson Valley, I'd say Burley Oak is definitely on a tie, very close with Hudson, because no word of a lie, I brought 12 beers to trade, and I'm not even kidding you. I traded all 12 beers for something, always looking for something different. There was one guy that's from Virginia Beach that actually let me try out some of his bottled stuff from a small brewery in Connecticut, and that was pretty wild too. They were doing some sours. One was like because they do like a blendery. Yep.
No, this is
Cowboy.
We're drinking the Cowboy one now because football season is getting close, and in this household we don't talk anything Cowboy when it's football season.
Like
But,
the cans. Pretty cool.
But they,
Cowboy
always a
Funky
good.
then.
Yep. But yeah, that was always a good. It's always a good experience. I got their orange dreamsicle dream, which is like they're trying to replicate an orange creamsicle. And he did some other stuff then besides double acai bowl dream, and they also did like head stash, tangled in green, and then another one then too. So I picked up a whole bunch of that. I actually ended up getting in line to do some other trades and stuff too. So
And you said a beer connoisseur that we talked about on our last show is there, Miss Hoppy Floppy.
Yes, she was in the bottle taste. There's a party that they usually hold,
Mhm.
and that's in their tasting room. There's a party where you have to have the right bottles to be entered in, and then you pay, and then you go in there. You just have to private message Burley Oak to say, "Hey, I have these bottles," and they'll accept you or deny you. So
She
kind of
gets
exclusive.
She
but-
gets exclusive. She gets accepted where she goes. She's a very, very attractive girl. Very, we'll say, voluptuous. Very built in the right areas. She'll take like a can and the glass, and she'll have like a nice outfit on or less than an outfit and pose, and that's her thing. Like she takes like she uses photography and beer, and she has a following. I follow her. She's
And there's another girl then too that does I forget what her name is. When she's in the Harrisburg area.
really,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
And
definitely.
she's I think it's like IPA brunette, I think her name is. I
Okay.
follow her on Instagram.
We'll have to find that and definitely plug her too, because Hoppy Floppy's from around our area too, right?
I know she's definitely on the East Coast.
Yeah, she's close to us.
Yeah,
So
definitely
she
on
just
the East
goes
Coast.
around to different breweries. Or...
Yep, around the East Coast. Yeah, and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, I'm trying this out," without saying it, like boob beer. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong.
Boob and butt and beer. You can't go wrong with her Instagram. It's awesome. But she actually gets some beers that you look at, you're like, man, I want to try that. She had like all these really cool Game of Thrones beers,
Okay, I've had a couple of those. They're
Yeah.
not too bad.
and she'll have like she's not just like, hey, I'm just like half naked with my photo. Like so the Game of Thrones one, she had like a chainmail bra.
Oh, okay,
So she themes her photos with the beer.
that's perfect.
They did like I'm a huge
Ooh.
Arrested Development. So they had a never nude beer. So she wore like a really like a tight bathing suit, but then she had like the jean shorts over it because the never nude. So like they're really cool. Like they're funny. She have a really cool plug her Rotunda. That's kind of what turned me on to her because she did the Rotunda thing. I'm like, oh, that's like one of our like because the Brewfest and our friends are good friends with the Rotunda people. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Now Ben, we've you do pour Conky Dong already?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
All right. So we've had Conky Dong on the show once before, correct? We had the regular Conky Dong.
We had the I think we had the
double.
no.
Two
it
up.
was no the 4-up quadruple dry hopped.
Because I've had the regular Conky Dong, I've had the double up, and then the quadruple.
So no, it was only the regular, the double IPA, and then the quadruple dry hopped.
Yeah, I've had all three of those. So this is my first time with the Cowboy.
This is like the only one that they got at their anniversary. So this is like their 3rd anniversary one.
So they're a fairly new brewing company.
Conky Dong for a quadruple dry hopped triple. They went from double to triple only.
Mhm. No, he was asking Ben. This is a newer.
Yes, this is. Yes. Let's just see when they canned this bad boy. Canned on 3/25 of 19.
But
so
are they a newer brewery?
it's about so it's their 3rd anniversary, so they've been for 3 years.
They do a lot of really cool stuff. We've had a lot of Hoof Hearted. A lot of that. So they make the Conky Dong, but the brewery is called Hoof Hearted. We've had Who's Holding My Clipboard, right? Is that what it's called?
Who'd like to hold my clipboard? Then we did like special occasion. There are some really like they do like 80s like wild like
Yeah.
can
The can's
art.
pretty cool. It caught my eye.
The cans are usually either video game themed or movie themed. So some of them you're trying to guess what movie they're talking about. Like one we think was kind of Monster Party because it was like a Medusa in a party dress, like a prom dress. So you didn't know who was like Carrie. So you have to like they kind of like put
That's
a lot of cool subliminal things. And I like to buy beer. Like when I was a kid, I liked buying T-shirts. If they have something cool on the T-shirt, I buy it. That's kind of how I buy my beer. It sucks me in. So you can get me with a label. That's me. That's especially if you cater to my inner nerd with wrestling, video games, or movie references. I'm there all day long. So what did you think of the Cowboy?
I think it was different.
I still have a lot of peach smell in my glass, but I definitely I'm getting all Cowboy with the taste. I've had Conky Dong before. To me, this is more of a. It tastes like Conky Dong, but the other Conky Dongs have a lot more of an orangey flavor. I want to say.
This is more like I would say that
this is more hoppy. This is
like a bold like
Yeah.
like they're doing like with like Texas Measure. Like this is like bold. This is like in your face, and I kind of like that. Like
Yeah.
it just tastes like it has a little bit more gusto. as you
Yeah.
say.
So the double was a strong beer. The quadruple was insanely strong, and the
And
regular,
smooth.
the regular Conky Dong was like an orange flavory beer. This is just like, here, we're gonna hit you in the mouth with some hops. Probably not your favorite.
Not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I gave it a 3. I gave it 3.25.
Wow. That's exactly what I gave it.
Yeah, it's like a nice, smooth, clean finish, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How much time we got here?
I'm just finishing up the developing now. And then the one thing that you kind of have to do, but to keep the image on the thing is called a fixer. So I brought my own fixer. So I'm going to pour this into here. I'm going to pour the fixer in, and that's going to be like another 3 or 4 minutes.
That's fine.
And then I can pull it out and we can see what it looks like.
Awesome.
Well, actually, I got to stop it first. So
Yeah.
there's a stop. Stop bath is essentially just water. And what it does is it cancels out.
Is that still drinkable?
No.
Oh no.
That changed color.
I also kind of tended to forget to rinse it first, because usually if you rinse it first, you'll get rid of this black color, which is like a protective coating that kind of goes onto the film. So I guess what it does is it keeps it from reacting to the light right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because aren't there silver crystals in it then too that actually when you click the camera it crushes and then develops?
What it
3.5.
basically it's more of like a photoreactive. It doesn't crush anything.
Oh, okay.
So basically the film itself is very hungry for light, and that's why you got to keep it in the dark. So you keep it in the dark so that if you take it out of the camera, it doesn't expose to the light around you and turn the whole image white. So basically you're just keeping it dark so that when the shutter opens, whatever light is focused through the camera lens is what shows up on the image. Because if you were to take it out in the daylight, whatever it was there, it's just going to get bleached away.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of want to keep it all dark, and you basically use the developer as kind of like a sunlight. Like essentially it's what it is. Like the longer you leave it in, the darker the image gets on the paper and the more contrastier the film becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you want to contrast the image, you would just leave it in there a lot longer. If you want like a soft image that's like very, very void of detail, you can leave it in less.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just like a lot of different tricks you can do with film that change the entire characteristics of the beer or of the film.
You have the film.
So it's a very interesting process. So I'm just going to do it again just to make sure it's stopped.
So I noticed you got a Street Fighter pun T-shirt on. What?
Yeah, actually, this is I think I have the film here. It's called Street Pan 400.
Mm-hmm.
The film is made by his name is Bellamy Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And what he does is he lives in Japan. He's from England, but he lives in Japan. And he made this film. It's called Japan Camera Hunter, because
Mm-hmm.
he goes around and he buys high-end cameras and he sells them online. So he'll buy like Leicas and Nikons and just sell them to people that are looking for like a niche market. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for the high end of the high end.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out and he finds them for those people and he sells them to them. And he brought the film back, which is the film that he uses is actually it's a old surveillance camera film, like from the days when they would put film in surveillance cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought a lot of the stock that was left over when he first came to starting his company, and he would just resell it in the containers. So he would
Nice.
re-roll it, put it in them. But now the company, basically, they're made out of Belgium. They basically take that same emulsion process and they make fresh film.
Oh, wow.
So he's making brand new film with the same film process that they did the old film with.
Nice.
Now, if they didn't do that, this probably would be non-existent.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he basically saved it from going
Extinct.
yes. And there's a couple other people doing the same thing. So this is the fixer, and what this does is it kind of washes away whatever the developer kind of exposed. So the developer it'll expose the crystals to get them to react. And then what this does is it kind of washes away what didn't react. And what that is basically the stuff that is in it would be clear. So it'll wash all the clear away, and you'll leave just the black stuff, which is why the negative looks reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So you just leave all that around, and then when you shine light through it, it makes a positive image onto the paper. Or if you're using a film scanner, it shines light through the film and it exposes it, kind of like you would with an enlarger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you put it in the enlarger and shine light through it. So now I'm just putting that in here.
This is wild.
Pretty neat process.
I love the Street Fighter pun for his film.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, definitely.
Actually, he created this with a company in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's the company's called Tog Tees, and I guess he contacted them, and there's a couple other versions of the shirt. There's like this one, and then there's another one that just has like a little camera on it.
Mhm.
So he has like 2 or 3 different versions, and I like Street Fighter,
Yeah.
so I had to get the Street Fighter version.
Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is actually not Ryu, but Ken.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of like Ken because he's like the rival, and Ryu's like the main character that
Mhm.
everyone loves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just kind of like Ken because he's like the opposite.
Now Ken was the
He has the
red
red
gi, the red gi blonde
Yeah.
hair.
and he
Yep.
also has like
I
the
suck at
flaming
fighting
uppercuts.
I'm not that great either.
Yeah,
I just kind of
terrible.
And the
at
flaming
fighting.
Hadokens too.
like
They
yeah.
actually just did a spin-off on wrestling with Street Fighter, where Braun Strowman was gifted a car and he beat it up, kind of
my
like
God.
Street Fighter. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We love those little play on pun things.
And then like not only that, what was I gonna say? Oh well, like speaking of like, with the film that was gonna go non-existent and
Mhm.
it's a revival, a lot of your beer varieties then too I like to bring up. Like saisons were a dying breed of style of beer, and also gozes, which we're actually going to sample then too. So ironically enough, with the whole thing of like, oh well, we're going to try and bring this style back, and ironically enough, we have all these bunches of styles
Okay.
then too. So it's
So we're
pretty
bringing
cool.
back beers and we're bringing
Yeah.
back film.
Film, yeah. Bring
That's
back the
kinda
old
cool.
shit, man.
That's-
Yeah.
I always say it wrong. Saisons.
Saison.
Saisons.
Saison.
They
There you
remind
go.
me of like a beer wine.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm. A lot of the times, like, if you wanted to have like a really good saison, it would be like, I consider it minty. People say peppery, but like if it has like that slight little mint flavor, kind of like a mild tea berry mint, that's when you have a good saison, and it's a little bit fuzzy at the end too. So like when you have it, it's good.
I went very light on that pour.
Let me take a whiff.
Is it a strong smell?
You're gonna hate that. You're gonna hate that.
I have a hard time with darker beers.
I'll take your share.
Yeah. I have a hard time with darker beers. To me, all right, so this might be like a psychology thing. I don't know. If there's a shrink ever listening, he could break me down.
This is starting out at a 3.25.
Yeah.
Just because
Just
it's
a smell.
Yeah, just
Oh.
because it's
So when I was a kid, his mother used to wake up every morning, make a pot of coffee, and I would run down with her and sit down and drink a cup
You
of
like it,
coffee with
man?
her.
It looks like coffee.
Yeah. So when she passed away, they told me, I don't remember. I can
it's
remember
hard.
I can remember the feelings we had for each other, like the love we had for each other, but like everything that we did together for some reason after she passed
I'll
away,
take the hit on that one.
as a
too.
kid, I like emotionally blocked all that out.
Okay.
So like the smell and taste of coffee is disgusting to me.
Gotcha. Because it brings back memories. and
I
stuff.
guess so. That's the only thing I can think of, because when they said I was a kid, I ate and drank stuff that like, how do you hate this all of a sudden? You used to eat this all the time or drink this all the time with your grandma and Betty.
Mhm.
So every time I have a dark beer, because they roast it longer, I get that coffee taste. Even if they're like, this is chocolate peanut butter with a kick of raspberry. I just like, I'm chewing on coffee.
You get the coffee taste
Yeah.
more than you would get the other.
So I try not to rank a lot of these beers because I don't want to be unfair to them and say that they're terrible. But I don't get the same flavor everybody else does.
I gotcha.
Let me take a look when that was done. Oh, this is probably been a while back.
Does it
They
say
usually
drink now
don't.
on it?
They don't know a lot. See, that's the problem with some of these cans. Like, I always like when they do a little bit like of a dating on them, so at least you kind of know.
Get an idea of when it was bottled or
Oh,
canned.
absolutely. And like that's really the problem. Sometimes that's a problem, but like most of the times it's really not. It just all depends on who you're getting it from. Now, like stouts, you can kind of get away with. You can let them go for a while. This one was fairly.
Once I smell, I'm like, I don't even want to drink this.
I think we should be good. So after
It's
we're done
horrible.
with this, I'll take it out.
It's not horrible.
It's horrible. Like like when people are like, "Ew, you like IPAs? They all taste the same." I think the same way with darker beers.
This is good.
It tastes like pure coffee.
No, that has a
I
little bit
get
of
a-
sweet bread.
I'm not
like
picking the coffee
sweet-
up at all. It's sweet chocolate. I can pick
I
up
get a
the
little
chocolate.
bit of chocolate, and then there's like a coffee flavor, but I
Yep.
get more chocolate.
Now this is
Yep.
supposed to be styled like a biscotti cookie.
I'm not
So-
even. I don't even want to do that to Aslan, so I'm not even I'm not even ranking it. Because I like Aslan beers, and I'm not gonna. I'm just because it's not my style. I'm not gonna break that beer down on them.
I like this one. I really do.
I'm sure if you're into that, I'm sure it's amazing. It's just not
It is.
my.
I think it's really good.
I'm gonna
It kinda
do a
goes-
quick rinse
go
on my
ahead.
glass. But you guys talk about it. I have nothing
Like
to say.
like you get a little bit. To me, I get a little bit of coffee and just swerves over to like a sweetness to it, and then it just like stops with it has like that good like 50% sweetness, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm digging this right now. This is
Oh, here's a.
wow. That's
Okay. Here's the Conky Dong can.
Sorry, give me one
It's
second.
okay. Take your time.
So big. Sorry for the.
So
sound.
this
I
is
know.
this is the Conky Dong can, the original Conky Dong.
That's like when they first started.
Yeah, that's what if you buy the Conky Dong, this is what it looks like.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Check it out.
Check it out.
Where are you going? Rinse?
Yeah.
I would have done it for you.
Yeah. I think it's just me anyway.
Pour some of this in there and get it washed up.
I have so many Aslan stouts. It's unreal. I still have maybe about like 6 or 7 of them
Wow.
still. And like one of them has like it's like a peanut butter chocolate. It's supposed to be like a peanut butter chocolate turtle.
Yeah.
I have that one, and then there's a Padrino, which I think it's going to be an odd one and two because it also has lemon in it in a stout.
Wow.
Hey Austin, happy Easter, bud. Hey,
buddy.
are you coming home? What week are you coming home, Austin?
Looking about 4 weeks from now.
No, you're okay. Is it cool if I quick dump this?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Yeah. So I'm just basically.
He's looking
just
like 4
washing
weeks
it.
from now.
Like what week though?
That's what I message him. He doesn't.
He's
quite know.
in the chat now. So if you can come home the weekend of the 9th, 10th, and 11th, you would really enjoy that.
Oh my God, you would love it.
So when I posted the Thanos, we're doing a Marvel style. I posted Thanos. I just said it's a Marvel style episode. I need to assemble some people.
Yeah, we're gonna need all the Avengers that we need.
So
Whatever it takes.
we want to talk comic books and we want to talk beer. So that would be a good week for you to come home. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And if you're listening and you're a Bangin' Beers fan and you want to join us for that episode, the only requirements are you got to be a comic book guy or a Marvel movie fan, and you have to like craft beer. We actually had it last week. You remember when that one beer was going crazy? The Lucky Charms beer was all over the news.
I did hear about that.
We actually had it on last week's episode.
Nice.
And I actually
Was it good?
It was all right.
overhyped.
It was
overhyped.
Yeah.
100% overhyped.
Overhyped.
And guess
So
what?
disappointing.
Actually at Burley Oak, I picked up Levante made a version. It's called Spoonful of Gold, and they did the very exact same thing. So
Right there next to your phone.
So like I put the bottle opener down with all the stickers. You're like, where is the bottle opener?
So an image did come, but it's not a very strong image. You can kind of see a little bit. Like you see where it's like right here.
yeah,
So it didn't come through all the way, but it's right there. It's very light. So
Okay.
I think I didn't add enough of the calcium, or I didn't leave it in long enough, but you can kind of.
Now, would you still save those?
That's a possibility. Like I could. It's very light. You can kind of see.
Yeah, I can kind of see a little bit. Yeah.
I kind of say a little bit.
Yeah. So you might be able to save it. Actually, there's 1, 2. You can kind of see it. So I might be able to save the 2 that you can see right here.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it was a very, I guess it didn't work out as well as I planned it to.
Weak experiment.
Yeah. It could have been also the film, because this is also a very thin film stock compared to say like a Kodak film.
First meth batch. Was a bust.
Yeah, that first time Walter made meth, it wasn't the greatest.
That's true. So I got more improvement times.
Can only come up from here, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can only make better meth from
Well,
here.
I'm glad we were able to be your first experiment, and we could definitely, obviously, we do this show very often. You're always welcome back. We could do it again.
Okay, yeah, I might be able to tweak it with like a different
See, if
film
you would have used a stout, it would have come out darker.
and probably very true, very true. This is a darker beer, and it'll come out darker.
It was that was neat though, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for letting me give it a try on your show.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
That was fun.
Just because I thought it would be more fun to do it on a show than just kind of do it in my house.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
be like,
I want to give Cheesefoot a really good plug here for turning you on to us. That was good stuff for him. We actually we hooked him up with some beers when he left too, so we definitely have some stuff for you as well.
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we try to give some beers from past shows or stuff that we had on different things. So we'll hook you up with some beers when you get out of here. So Ben, instead of sitting here with your teeth in your mouth, finish your beer. He has an
I want
excuse.
to enjoy it.
He's working over here.
I'm just putting everything away just to get it out of the way.
Something
This
like
is
this you want to savor. I'm liking that Imperial Biscotti stout.
Yes. When
So-
you're ready.
Oh, you gave it a 4. You gave it.
I gave that.
You were like awesome.
Yeah,
like
that was a really good beer.
Oh, the beer behind, I think. Let me just rinse this one.
Yeah, you might want to give that a quick rinse.
I traded quite a bit.
I've had this before. Oh, I did have this before.
Wait, what?
This peach beer, I've had it before.
Oh, that one. Okay.
I had this on draft. I had this beer on draft. It was phenomenal on draft. I had this at HMAC. So when we did a live episode with Artist Mashup, when I was out there with Craig in Harrisburg, they had this on tap. So now I'm going to try and bottle, which I'm excited for. And so this beer here, the peach beer, I actually picked this up. I don't remember the name of the place, but right there on 61, if you're heading towards the Cursona Mall, that beer place right by the adult store.
Yeah.
I picked this beer up, and I picked up another beer that we're going to have another time. I kind of talked to you about it, but I'll promote the beer anyway that we're going to do for a future episode in case anybody wants to get it. If you're a Metallica fan, you like Metallica?
I do.
So Metallica did a collaboration with Stone IPA and did a beer. They made a Enter Darkness beer.
Awesome.
So, and they have it in Cursona. So if anyone's interested,
Mind if I take a look at the film?
Yeah, go for it. I don't know if you wanted
This
to
is
use a
not
paper
bad.
towel on it
It's,
or not.
that's the peach one there.
So, sorry, real quick.
That's okay.
much
You just stepped on the
much more
record.
sour than the other one.
So basically, the film is a lot thinner than a normal film stock, just because of the reason for that. It's thinner so it can fit into a surveillance camera. Like they want to get as much out of the surveillance camera as possible, so they made it as thin as possible, so that it could fit as much into the
Right.
into the camera, so they don't have to wait and rechange it.
It's a lot sweeter in bottle than it was when I had on draft.
So
Now that
it-
you're holding up, I can see more of the other spots.
So it did develop the film. It didn't keep the image as well as it should have.
Yeah.
So because the reason I picked this film to give the experiment a try
Mhm.
was because naturally when you use a proper developer, it's a naturally
I
more
don't want to roll it up wrong.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh.
So it's naturally a more contrasty film. It's better in low light, so it's kind of in the range of infrared.
Mhm.
So it's got a little bit of both, so infrared and normal light, and that's why it's a little bit more contrasty. So the reason I picked it was just because it would, in theory, be more contrasty. So if the developer didn't make the contrast as proper as it would, the film would kind of react with it to keep the contrast to get a sharper image, or like at least a
I love when they do
image.
the old surveillance video and like, help us catch this guy. Like, how? You can't see shit in that thing.
Put him on a milk cart and he'll come out. So that's mainly the reason I picked the JCH, just because I thought it was going to be more of a contrasty film.
Yeah.
So the images I saw with the Kodak were very light. So it was like more of like a flat gray, but you saw the detail of the image, but it was just flat. So I wanted to try to get more of that tone out of it. But
so what are, now that we have you without you're not focused on your thing because you're watching times and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bug you too much.
It's
But
all good.
what are some of your, as you see like filming like abandoned locations and stuff, what are some of your favorite places you've shot so far?
My favorite place that I shot, which I wasn't really supposed to be, was Penhurst. I didn't get to do this was back when I first started photography, like when I first got a camera that was like an SLR where you can manually adjust the shutter and
open.
you can manually adjust the shutter and all the specs. So that was when I was learning photography, but I used to urban explore beforehand. So I figured, let me try out my new camera here. So the images didn't come out that great because I was new, but the experience of being in this location, it's basically you get to explore history while it's like degrading. So it's kind of like the guys who explored King Tut's tomb, like the first people to go in. It's kind of like that. It's like
it's a rush. It's a rush.
Yeah.
And then obviously you don't want to get caught, so you're like, it's even more of a rush.
Yeah. So you're basically exploring history before people try to like
demolish it.
Yeah, or try to make it revived. So it's like more like acceptable to like everyone can
the
go.
Only thing I
see.
wish that people just didn't do is when they went in those buildings, just don't trash it.
I agree.
I like when people go in and spray paint stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, why? Like, what happened to you? You had a nice little cut in your hand. Your dog.
Your dog.
My dog.
Today.
Oh, I gotta cut her nails.
Playing with her toy before we went on there.
Took you out.
Oh, I might be able to get that. At least two.
Yeah. So did you experience anything creepy when you were there?
I never experienced anything creepy at Penhurst, even though a lot of people say it's like the most haunted place around. I didn't experience anything creepy, but I did see a few creepy things. I saw, like the gurneys, like that you transport people from different rooms. Well, there's a building called the Quaker Building, and it's like the where they would send the patients that were the bad, like not the bad, but the ones that were more violent or the ones that were
had stronger mental disabilities.
Yeah, they would send them there, and they would chain them to beds or they would strap them to their gurneys. So I saw a bunch of like the ones that you transport them, the gurneys that had leather straps still attached. So you could sit there and you can see where they would get attached to the bed, so they couldn't move their hands around. So it's a little bit sad in that regards, but also at the same time, it's kind of like that's what they knew at the time.
Yeah.
So they didn't really know any.
It's crazy. So like a lot of people always say to me like, oh, like I'm not trying to like poop on religion or anything, but when people are like, oh, they're possessed by demons, I'm like, they're probably so mentally ill, and you were just like torturing them. Like it's getting better. Like mental health is getting better in our country as being educated and how to treat it and how to help people. But my God, were people with mental health issues treated so poorly back in the day? Like,
they were, because they all thought it was something bad.
Yeah, like they were giving them lobotomies and like picking at their brains and electrocuting them and just like horrible things. You know what I mean? Like it sucks. And if there is a spiritual world and you are still in that mental capacity as a spirit, of course you'd be considered an evil spirit because you don't know any, you were tortured like as a human being, like
twisted.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I forget what, I don't know if it was Penhurst or if it was one of the mental asylums. I think it was in Jersey where they it was shut down. Government shut down, but they had nowhere else to go, so they just lived in the building.
So they were like squatting the whole time.
Yeah, like they just and like they were literally like half naked people just like in a room, like 14 of them just sitting there like not knowing what to do, and they were just left there because they had no funding anymore. Like once they started shutting down the mental health facilities and started building more prisons, it was just like if you didn't go out in public and do something bad enough to land you in jail, you were just kind of stuck in these abandoned buildings, or you would end up on like places like Skid Row. where it's just like it's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that mental health is actually becoming more of acknowledged so that they can kind of
Help people.
yeah
Yeah.
and get rid of like what they used to do.
And some of them, I mean, like, I'm not sure how what's your age?
I am 31.
31. I'm 30. You're around the same age as me, 32.
Okay.
Like my generation, every kid was put on Ritalin. Like if,
Yeah.
if you couldn't pay attention in school, or if they were just boring you, or if you had hope, or like anything, like ADHD was like just coming out as like a big thing when we were coming out, and then it turned into like every kid should be on Ritalin. Everyone's on Ritalin. Like they were just pumping drugs into kids. Like it was just insane. Like
And then all the kids were just like zombies for
Yeah.
the most part, not like who they should be.
And then you look at like, I don't know if this is a correlation or if this is just me overthinking things, but like my generation of people is just like even more with the mental health issues like suicide or depression or anxiety.
Mm.
And I think a lot of that might have to do with like they were forced and stuff. Like I literally remember leaving class, like you'd leave lunch or recess and they would literally have cups on the desk, like prison, like mental health, like asylums or prisons. And they give you fluoride or your Ritalin pill if you were another kid. Like they would feed it to you right in class because they were just sick of everyone going to the nurse for it. So the teacher would literally just hand it to you and you'd chew up a pill in class.
When I was in school, we would we'd come in in the morning,
Mhm.
and the teacher would hand your fluoride pill.
Yeah, fluoride.
As you're walking in, you get a
I never
fluoride
got
pill.
those. Was this like a different type of school? Because
No,
I was in like
no,
regular public.
Yeah,
school.
public school. I went to
And
one.
they had
You know what we used to
little,
do?
it was a little, just a real little pill, fluoride pill, and I don't know when they stopped giving them out.
I was still getting them when I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
I would never
same
take.
here. It was way back, like even like third, fourth grade, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Maybe
take
not.
it. You know what we'd do with it? We'd hide it on our tongue, and then we'd hide it in our pocket, and then we'd go to the bathroom, and then you remember how like the urinals have that hole on the bottom?
Yeah.
We would try to drop it to land it in that hole, and then we would just flush it. We never took it. Like even as a kid, it's like I'm not taking this. Like what are they trying to give me?
Yeah,
Like,
that is pretty weird,
Yeah,
especially when you're in
just
school.
It's like they put fluoride in the water at prisons for prisoners, like and it has different effects to it. Like I won't get into it because it's all like conspiracy, but like
yeah.
they're pumping that shit into us as kids like crazy. Like wow, it's not good.
Yeah,
It's for your teeth. Yeah, bullshit.
yeah.
They told us.
That's such a
It's for your
different thing.
teeth.
I went to school in like Quakertown, Pennsylvania, so I just never
Yeah,
experienced that. That's
Yeah.
just strange.
yeah. I went to Monty area. He went to Shenandoah.
North School. Cool.
Yeah, they were pumping fluoride in our kids.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. Maybe because they put it probably in our water. They
Yeah,
probably
might have been
left it in
available
the
in
water.
the water,
Yeah.
so you didn't need it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I'm guessing our water system didn't have enough fluoride in it, so
They were putting it in their
they gave
Pill in it.
they gave the children a pill, the elementary and grade schools.
So scary.
fluoride pills.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the peach?
I like that.
I gave it a 3. Definitely more on the sour side than the Hudson Valley.
It was actually more of a sour than the other peach
it's
berry.
more
Yeah,
of a
Ber-
sour,
Yeah, Berliner Weisses are usually
Not
like I
as-
usually
peachy.
yeah.
The peach was a little subtle than with the Hudson Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get
Yeah.
any peach very much.
Yeah.
I got more sour than peach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berliner Weisses, like I usually go like kettle sours are usually like your bottom rung. Like if you wanted to get introduced into them, because they're like a 25% sour. Like you get that initial sourness or tartness, and then afterwards it just drinks like
See,
a
this
regular beer.
reminds me of almost like a cider or a saison almost.
I can get cider.
Then I would go.
Yeah.
I would go with kettle sour, then Berliner Weiss, then like Goza, then Berliner Weiss, then your regular sour. That's how it usually would go.
Mhm.
Because your Goza is like maybe about half of a sour. Berliner Weiss is just a little bit more, and that's kind of like what I'm getting off of it then too. And then your regular sour is just like full on
Yeah.
So is it called a Berliner Weiss?
Yeah. Berliner Weiss.
Oh.
I love Flying Dog is probably one of my top craft breweries, only because I had when I first moved into the house, I met my neighbor next door and he had these cool bottles on his bookshelf, and I was like, what are those bottles? And then he had all this really interesting artwork that looked a lot like this. And I was like, man, that's really cool art.
Mhm.
Like, where did you get that? His name is Chris Schuma. And he's like, oh, you don't know about this artist. And I still always forget the artist's name, but he was an artist that hung out with Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Hunter S.
Yeah,
Thompson?
I kind of get that now that you mentioned it.
So the Flying Dog beer is modeled after the artist who hung out with Hunter. Normally, I don't know if this is a quote or not on it, but normally he has there's a Hunter quote on it. So this one, when the joy needed it during a particularly necessary New Year's Day brunch, the Bangin was there for her. She vowed then he vowed then and there to bring her the deliciousness of her Italian savor to the masses. Armed with determination, damned good pun, she ditched the idea of marrying sweet peach with tart. Berlin wise to our brewmaster, we're now all believers, and it says peachy. But like I have the Gonzo beer up there.
Okay.
That's the beer for Hunter. But it's the same guy who followed Hunter and would take lots of drugs, and he would draw what Hunter was seeing.
Okay.
And like every beer is kind of like modeled after the Hunter art. And when you go to the brewery, they have a lot of they have a museum of his art and like Hunter S. Thompson stuff, which I'm obsessed with.
That's
which
pretty cool.
is Ralph Steadman.
It's Ralph Steadman. Thank
Ralph
you.
Steadman, and I found a really cool picture for our things that are not cool in high school thing too.
Yeah, he's awesome. Ralph Steadman's a beast.
Optimus Prime ripping his head off, where there's a guy who's like gonna shoot himself.
That's
and
cool.
He's saying something in code.
So
1001.
Yeah, Hunter actually he committed suicide. When Bush got elected for his second term, he wrote a suicide note. Well, pretty much after 9/11 happened, he wrote an article, and he pretty much nailed exactly what was going to happen in our country for the next 7-10 years after. He's going to say, we're going to be told it's this, this, and this, but it's going to be really this, this, and this. There's going to be, he even kind of even put in this thing about possibly being that it could be a conspiracy.
Like the whole country is in a conspiracy.
Well, like the conspiracy of 9/11. He even wrote that in there because he wrote like the day it was happening. He sat there and wrote it down. And then Bush got reelected his second term, and he goes, I've survived every drug on the planet. I don't want to survive another term with Bush. And he shot himself in the head.
Wow.
Yeah, and his guy was crazy. Like, you ever seen the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
That was a crazy movie.
It's
a good movie.
Yeah, Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro, and Johnny Depp plays Hunter S. Thompson, and he's supposed to go to a motorcycle race to do journalism, and he gets there and just gets smoked on every type of drug possible. And he would literally go to the motorcycle race, but the way he described his events, the people were like, this is insane. And Rolling Stone hired him to pretty much write this gonzo journalism. Like, it was just like, he was very political, and he was very kind of ahead of his time. He actually did a book where he infiltrated the Hells Angels and lived with them for like 3 or 4 years. And then he got in some trouble with the Hells Angels, and they kicked him out. And then he wrote the tell-all book. And then he was like, his life was in danger for years after. The story that got him in trouble, what got him kicked out of the Hells Angels, he was at a party, and one of the main guys of the Hells Angels was there. And his girlfriend or his wife said something, and he backhanded her and punched her and beat her up. And then his dog came over, like barking at him to like stop hitting this, like it's one of his owners. And he kicked the dog and like punched the dog. And Hunter, obviously, is Hunter. He's probably high and drunk and whatever. He walked up and goes, it's one thing to hit your woman, but you're a real piece of shit to hit your dog too. And they stripped him naked, beat him up, and left him for dead in the middle of the road. Wow. Yeah. And then he's like, I have a book. But his whole goal was to go in there and infiltrate and kind of tell a story. Like he's amazing journalist. His books are insane. And then he had a movie where Bill Murray played him called Where the Buffalo Might Roam, where he was supposed to go and do journalism at the Super Bowl. But he got drunk and high in his hotel room, and then hired 2 of the Spanish-Mexican workers to dress up and play football in his hotel room. And then he covered that instead.
He's like, let me just cover something else.
Yeah. That's kind of what they knew sending him there. Like, that he would just not probably do that. He would tape a tape recorder to his chest and just get high on everything, and then just talk and then write it down. He was an amazing writer, and he had a style that was called gonzo journalism. Yeah. And then there was one called The Rum Diaries, where Johnny Depp played him as well.
Seemed like a Ernest Hemingway in the sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting guy. Do you want to check the temperature of that flying or the dogfish, and then we'll wrap this up?
Sure. So, I mean, there's a little bit in this one, but it's probably not.
Yeah, not super cold. I mean, we'll try warm too. We won't let it go to waste. So we're drinking developing fluid.
Yeah, well, it's not black, so I think we're good.
We'll go pour first with this and see what we have left if we have to open it. I'm a big Dogfish Head fan.
I like them too. I like the Sequench and the Namaste White.
Yeah.
I like the puns that they have too. They're really
I
fun.
know we're not going to do another.
No.
That's fine. That's a good one. Anyway.
I went to Vegas not too long ago, and yeah, we probably don't even. Do you mind if we hang on to that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. I got some stuff for you too as well. So I went to Vegas, and we were sitting I was at the MGM Grand, and I was like, oh my god, I want to drink, but it's so expensive. So I was sitting at the bar, and I'm looking across, and I'm looking in the cooler of what they had, because I always look for the craft beers.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Dogfish Head 120, and I was like, oh my god, if Miller Lite is $7 a bottle, I don't even want to know what Dogfish one, because 120 will kick your ass. And I said, well, how much is the Dogfish Head? And he goes, now the bottle of Miller Lite, a big platinum, like a big
So like
aluminum bottle,
24 ounce or something.
Yeah, was
the
like
big one,
$8,
which is not that bad.
it's not terrible, but
You could do better though.
yeah. So then I was like, well, how much for the Dogfish Head? And he goes, $3.50, $4.
Why?
And I go, wait, why? And he goes, we can't sell it because they're from what, Maryland?
Delaware.
Mhm.
Delaware, Maryland, yeah.
Yeah.
Delaware.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, we can't sell it. And I was like, I'll take 2. And he's like, 2? I'm like, because after those 2, I probably won't need another 2 beers.
Mhm.
And the guy sitting next to me, he's like, what are you drinking? I was like, the Dogfish Head. He goes, what the hell is that? I'm like, I'm from Pennsylvania. That's a brewery, like not like in our area that we can get. I said, that beer will kick your, like 2 or 3 of those, you will, that's like one of those beers is probably 2 of what you're drinking, and it's almost $4 cheaper. And the guy's like, do you mind? I was like, I don't care, here. And he sipped it. He goes, well, that's delicious. He goes, what is I said, and I told him the ABV and stuff, and he's like, I'll take 2 as well. And we just sat there and drank Dogfish Head the whole time in Vegas. And the guy was like, yo, I'm fucked up. I was like, he goes, I have so much money in my pocket. And I'm like, I was like, that's not always that cheap, but it's a good beer.
Mm.
So that was my Dogfish Vegas experience.
That's awesome. So you got them to save a couple dollars and get them trash.
Yeah. That is even, I think that's even good warm.
Yeah, it's not bad
Decent.
warm. I
Yeah.
haven't had it cold, or I have had it cold. I haven't had it warm.
Now, here's a cool thing that I don't know if this is something that Ben has discovered with his, because he's like a mad scientist with beer. But what we tend to do, the reason we kind of have them sit out, we don't, you don't always want to try some of these beers ice cold, because these craft beers, the warmer they kind of sit, or like the not temperature wise, more flavor comes out of them.
Okay.
So like, if
And then you
really-
transfer them to a glass as well.
It brings out the
Yeah.
phenols or
Yep.
whatever they're called.
if you want to, like, if you ever hear anything that has, like, in a stout peanut butter, you let it sit at room temperature because you can taste more of the peanut butter into it.
Okay.
So,
So room temperature, that would be like just whatever the temperature in the room.
oh,
would
and
be?
you can taste the peanut butter. You taste pretty much the stout. It doesn't sacrifice the flavor.
Okay.
as
So if you were to chill it, would it like lose that flavor, or
Oh
would it
yeah,
just
like it'll taste like a regular stout.
okay? So it just kind of gives out different nuances. Kind
Now,
of
like one example I'll always bring up. So Terrapin Brewing Company made a liquid lunch peanut butter and jelly ale, and it had raspberry jam and peanut butter into it. Well, I drank it cold, and I was like, it tasted vinegary, and you didn't really taste you taste a very little bit of peanut butter, and it was just like, oh man, what the hell just happened with, right? And I go back to the courthouse because that's where I bought it from. It's in Frackville, right across from the pizza place. I said, yo, that tasted really vinegary. He goes, is that what you thought of it? I go, yeah. He goes, I realized, I thought about it. You should let it sit for a little bit to get those peanut butter nuances and everything else into it then too, and it would taste a lot better, even the fruit flavor. So in other words, yeah, sometimes it's better to let beer sit versus, having it very cold.
it's good to know because
Because it hits like all those like flavor, like your taste buds and all that then too.
okay.
So that's how it goes.
Yeah, that actually, and even as a sour, the sour isn't as pungent with this because it's like not as cold.
And as you can tell then too, like the Berliner Weiss and then the Goza, like you can see like where my chart of
Mhm.
sorts comes into play.
This is
Like
a
the
good beer.
Goza is like right there, like a little bit sour, but it's not like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's not like you get that like a warhead, like an atomic warhead. You get it and you're like, wow.
He gave me one last night, the juice, the orange one.
Oh, that orange dreamsicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an orange dreamsicle. They do like a base, like they do like a cobbler. They do like a cobbler dream, which is a sour, and they nail like the actual crust in the actual beer itself.
So like it tastes like you're actually eating a piece of
It's like
cobbler.
liquid cobbler.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
No joke. And like I had the blueberry, I almost cried. I had the double blueberry. I was like 3/4 of the way. Like it was really like one more thing. I would have been like, like the Native American back in the 70s where like people are throwing trash out. It would have been like that. I would have been like that. I'm like, oh my god, this is so beautiful.
So it's kind of like a Willy Wonka company that's just magically making.
Oh, they and Burley Oak is always a good brewery to go to. That's another one you really should go and see. When we went, it was like pouring down rain yesterday, but they're doing the sodding, so like they're actually making a legitimate beer garden out
That's
of
cool.
the one area, and they're gonna make it really nice. And
Very cool.
I really hope that they do pretty well. They're doing very well as is, but speaking of like actual fruit juice then too, I think we're going to get some crowlers from the answer. I'm going to try and conjure up some shit there. 32-ounce crowlers, 3.4% alcohol by volume, roughly about Berliner Weiss's sours. They make supposedly they make really good stouts then too. I want to try and throw a stout in, but overall, we're going to have 6 cans lined up. And they're all weak ABV except for the stout, but they always throw in some really good things. They do like popsicle flavored, and they do like 2 scoops, 3 scoops, and it's like mango, lemon, raspberry. They do like all wild like fruit juices and stuff. So no joke, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a fun episode. I might shoot for that like in the summertime, like July, August.
So this is going to be a pre-show one for you. Dave actually bought this, wasn't a fan of the Imperial Stout, and then we had before the Black Haze.
Mhm.
You can have those, they're darker beers. Cool. You can take those with you. We've had this on the show. This is the Hopsmith Pale Lager. This is from Monty City, the cake stand. We got the Dunkel Sean. This is the peanut butter chocolate beer. If you like darker beers, I actually enjoyed this. I didn't get much of the coffee. This was very peanut buttery, very chocolate.
Okay, so this would be one that you would kind of leave at room temperature.
Yeah, I would let
that.
I'd pour that into a
Let that-
glass and let it
let that
warm
I
up.
kind of leave that just a little bit colder,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
not
Like, don't crack the
very
can,
much.
pour it, and go right for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
just kind of let it sit a little bit
And
and
then,
mellow
like,
it
just
out.
Maybe
Yeah.
15-20 minute
Okay.
deal. So like work on one and then switch
Yeah.
over to that.
Poor
one, you'll be
Pitiful
good.
Me, I really enjoyed this. Is a good IPA. And because you are the Metallica fan, here's the Enter the Night.
Oh,
Enter
really?
Night Pilsner.
Hey.
We're going to be doing this on a future episode, but you can take one with you
Are
today.
you sure? Thank you.
Absolutely. And
That's
then
awesome.
here's a little, you can clip them on there. A nice little carrying case for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Definitely.
Anytime you want to come back, man, 100% let us know. We're always looking
Okay.
for guests, and we can learn a little bit more about you and dive a little deeper in.
And hint, we have to assemble all of our Avengers for
Yeah, if you
the
wanna-
May
if-
episode.
If you're a Marvel fan, you want to come in for the May episode, May 12th, Mother's Day.
more than welcome.
I may not be as like versed in it as you guys are, but
That's
I know a
okay.
little bit about it, and I do enjoy comics. It's just I don't know.
That's
a lot
all
about
right.
it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I'll go
We're
with my
just
seat for that one.
don't worry.
But that's gonna do it here for us. Real quick around the table, Ben, what do you got to plug?
Oh my god, we got some really good Bangin' Beers episodes. I mean, I kind of spoiled some beer flavors or beers we're gonna be doing. Like I said, the Lucky Charms beer from Levante, which is also a local PA state brewery. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Bolero Bolero Snort
There you go.
imprint collaboration. They did Taste the Rainbow, which is Skittles beer.
We have a
Oh, wow.
we have a Skittles.
Yeah, we
beer.
have a Skittles beer.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, I pulled shit out of the woodwork here, man.
That sounds really cool.
Oh,
yeah.
I did like really gimmick. I love gimmick beer. That's like my thing, and
Me
that's
too.
why we
It's
always
just
we always
fun to-
do it. It's
yeah.
so fun because when you were a kid way back when, you're like you want beer to taste like fruit juice or like something, and then you get funny off.
Well,
of it.
not when you were a
at least
kid.
me. Well, at
When-
least me at least.
When you're a kid, you drink like Budweiser, and you're like, no, I don't like beer.
But like
Why
you
can't
want
they
something
make it?
sweet.
Why
ta-
can't they
you know
make it
what,
taste
good.
like cereal?
And then ironically enough, they're doing that right now. So
That's awesome.
people would shit on that, and they're like, "Yo, like we're actually gonna do like a marshmallow fluff beer," and people do it, and it's
Mhm.
crazy. But a lot of beer down the pike, especially that May episode. We're gonna assemble a whole bunch of people, so whatever it takes.
Ben's got
I'm driving this one.
Ben's got a boner.
I'm
for that
driving
one.
it. I'm driving it home, man.
All right. What do you got? You got anything you want to plug? Anything you got going on?
Yeah, why not? I'll just plug my Instagram. It's D Lorenzo Photo. It's on Instagram. Basically, I just kind of do portrait photography for anyone who kind of like wants something a little bit different. Because I'm kind of like not the traditional photographer. Like I'll go to like a really cool place to get you like a really cool shot. So like I'll go out of my way essentially to give you something that's a little bit different than the normal on a background. Posing in front of like just like a normal white background or a normal black background. So I just kind of give you a little bit different. Like I kind of want to try that.
Nice.
So
So you're kind of more like, let's find a location and go have some fun.
yeah, it's more of like a cinematic look instead of like a like just a standard portrait.
Yeah.
Essentially, like I try to go for the more movie look in
Awesome.
the images.
Yeah, we have our buddy Nikolai's like that. He's a big film guy. He went to school for film, and he has a pretty decent camera, and he's learning how to take more photos. But his photos are very cinematic when he takes them as well.
Mhm.
So when we go to a lot of locations, we'll say, "Hey, we're going to be at Goodfellas this weekend," or "Hey, we're going to be there," and he'll just kind of go around and take photos if he can make it because he is a very busy guy. And then we kind of just take those photos and upload them on our Facebook page, and then just tag like, "Hey, if you were at this event, tag yourself." Just to kind of get some exposure to the page. But if you ever want to do that and you're free on a weekend and I'm going to go somewhere and you want to tag along, and then we'll put them on the page and say all photos by you, contact you, and we can help each other out that way too.
Perfect. Yeah, because I'm mostly free weekends, so I'm
Cool.
pretty good on whatever
Perfect.
weekend you
Awesome.
guys
And like I
have.
said, we're trying to revitalize the music scene in the area. Very
Okay.
passionate about doing that and try to help. Like over the weekend, 3 locations: Hot Rod Bar and Grill, the boys upstairs played, packed, over 200 people.
Okay.
Roundhouse with Bad Maggie, packed, hundreds of people. Like not over 100 because there was a smaller bar, but packed. And then Goodfellas had an amazing turnout, over 200 people. For 5 bands. So the music scene is coming back. I mean, the talent in this area is unbelievable, and we're showcasing a lot of that on our show. So a lot of cool things to look forward to. And
Yeah, the month of June, I'm riding the bike for my second year doing it, Kids for Cancer, my fundraiser. I've actually met my goal for donations
Which one's this?
of $200,
nice.
but you can still donate. But I'm doing 300 miles in the month of June. So every weekend in June, I'll be riding the bike somewhere.
Where can we find the donation tab?
I have rides coming up on my Facebook page. I always put a link into the ride that I'm doing, and you can make a donation there. But
Okay.
I'll look on my Facebook page. I'll be making
Also, we will
some
also share them on
posts.
Bangin Beers podcast
Sure.
page, as well as interviews with everyday people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, tomorrow we have Faith in Exile. They're coming back. They're making their revival. They're going to be on here tomorrow for another Bangin Beers episode. We're going to do some beers and talk about their upcoming show this Friday at Strikers. This Friday, we'll be live at Interviews with Everyday People. We'll be live at Culture to Culture, and then immediately after that, we're going to run over to Strikers to support those guys. The 27th is a PPW. Actually, no, they're playing Saturday night at Strikers. We're going to PPW, and then after PPW, shooting over to Strikers to see that show.
Ooh. Oh, that's wild. Okay.
PPW Super Show. It's going to be awesome. Disco Inferno, Gilbert, AEW Superstar will be
go to
there.
that.
A lot of cool stuff will be there. And then the 28th, we're having a get-together at Goodfellas. Anyone who's interested to donate their time, we're going to go in there. We're going to go in as a team. Whatever they need cleaned up, moved around, thrown away, we're just going to go in there as a team and just kind of revitalize that place and try to help them out. And then we're going to sit down. The bands are going to sit down and really talk about what they can fix or what needs to be changed, or and try to just help that place out.
That's cool.
The 29th, we have interview with I don't want to say yet because Jake, but if you're into the original Pet Cemetery movie, the 29th is going to be a good day for you. We're going to shoot an interview, so look out for that on Friday.
That's awesome.
And then we're sitting down Tuesday immediately after that. The next 2 weeks, I have no days off. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm just busy. We're sitting down with Montongo, the band Montongo. Awesome band in the area. Looking forward to that. And then just to kind of recap some Bangin' Beers coming up for the month of May. We got Jerry Williams, Big Jer's coming in. The 12th, we're going to have a friend hopefully coming down from New York. And hopefully my little brother will be home. So we'll have a cool little guest spot for there. And that'll also be the Avengers episode. So check.
And we're assembling all Avengers, whatever it takes.
Yeah, we're assembling.
I'm really riding this one out.
Then the 19th, we're going to be sitting down with Bad Maggie, a local band in the area. Really, really awesome dudes. That's
the day after Brewfest.
The day after Brewfest. So, you don't even know. So Brewfest for us starts the 17th. Friday night, the night before Brewfest, we sit down with
is that the
Crystal and Scylla and their friend. I forget. I don't know if she's coming or not. I don't want to put her out there in case she's not. But that's going to be quote unquote. This is their episode name, not mine. Bangin' Beers with Bitches. That's their.
I'm
episode.
digging that.
Yeah,
we got a line up there too.
Yeah.
So
So then after Bangin' Beers with Bitches, we're going to be at Brewfest, and then after Brewfest, we're going to another PPW show. Then the next day is Bangin' Beers with Bad Maggie.
3B weekend.
It's a beer weekend.
3B weekend.
3B weekend.
we're banging the hell out of some freaking beers.
That's why this
Bangin' Bears and
sucked.
Bitches, Brewfest, and Bad Maggie.
Yeah.
in
one weekend.
I'm taking that Monday off. Oh boy.
Monday I have an interview, and then the very last very last week of that month, we're doing Bangin' Beers with Amber. She's Eddie Collins' girlfriend.
Okay.
Very, very cool chick. She's also a piercer.
Heavy sour. We're doing heavy sours.
Sour porter episode. Amber, I love you to death, but I'm gonna have another beer on the side that I can at least get drunk with because I'm not going heavy with those pours because
It's gonna be a lot of sour.
yeah, sour and porter. She likes dark. She don't like.
I think I
IPAs.
might have to actually break this one out, even though I poured myself a little.
You got to bring that other can back that we did for Matt, the bourbon aged one that I gave you a can of.
Yeah, I'll bring that
Yeah,
one.
you gotta
I
bring
have
that
that
back.
one yet. Yep.
Won't even have taste buds after the sours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we got coming up for Bangin' Beers. A lot of cool stuff. Follow us on Interviews with Everyday People, Bangin' Beers podcast, and if you're into pro wrestling, we also got the Tornado Tag, and then we also have the pop culture show, things that weren't cool in high school. We have made a new page. I actually just made it from public to private. It's called Iwep Family. That covers all 4 shows and the people who are really, really into the shows.
And it's not a wrestling federation, by the way.
It could be. It can be if we want to. But that page there will get you early access to stuff that you normally wouldn't get. So if there's an interview coming out Friday, I may or may not leak the audio to that interview that you can listen to a couple days before it hits YouTube, that you can listen to the interview. So if that's something you're interested in, join that page. That's IWEP Family on Facebook. It's a private group, and you're more than welcome. We feedback, good or bad, hit us up with it. Let us know what we're doing good, what we're doing wrong, what we can adjust, what we can adjust within the means of our budget.
And what are you looking as far as beer wise? Because I kind of have the world by the balls on that one.
Yeah. And if you need beer, hit Ben up, I guess. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
hope you had a good time, man.
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll get you back on with Cheesefoot again another day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a different type of scenario. for
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.